His dad was likely on the way home from work and would be home any minute, and I believed him, naively. He asked me to go hang out in the basement.
I am not going up there.
I'm not going out there.
I'm definitely... Oh.
Sorry, bro.
Hello, friends. Trace amounts of science. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact. Today we are getting into some r/NiceGuyStories. I like to check in every so often. There's some photo posts here too, but I like to stick with the text posts, you know? It's kind of the nice guy mixed with like the neckbeard roots and stuff. It feels pretty good. I think Gubbins likes it too, I think.
Nice guy stories? Gubbins feel tension in air. Smell like desperation in printer ink. Timeline about to get greasy. Bring on the cope. Bring on the fog speak. Gubbins feast today. Gubbins.
And so we shall all feast today. Let's just jump right into it, why not? Thanks so much for being here. I hope you will enjoy. I gave the blind date nice guy a chance and regretted it. I mean, blind dates, it's never going to be good. You want to know, don't you?
He sounds nice.
I am nice. Well, he's not nice.
Small content warning, some mentions of subpar intimacy and nipple pinching. You're into it? You aren't? I'm going to assume you aren't. This happened back in 2018. I, 26-year-old black woman, met this nice guy via a blind date with a mutual acquaintance. The acquaintance I lightly called my friend at the time sent me a message about the guy that she thought was perfect for me, that she met on Plenty of Fish. We'll call him Devin. She sent me a screenshot of his picture and a message about how he responded to a pic that she shared of me. His response was, "Shh, whoa, beautiful, I feel like she might reject me." I felt a little bad for him and told her to set us up on the date. Hell yeah, pity date. This is gonna go really well.
I just can't wait. I know it's gonna bring me right back. It's gotta be as good as I remember.
We agreed to meet up at a ramen place. I sent him a message that I had just arrived. That's when I saw him leaning against a beat-up looking car. He was a short, chubby Asian man, none of which bothered me. But what did bother me was that he was smoking a cigarette at the time, but it got worse later on down the line. The first date conversation was awkward, to say the least, and I barely remember anything about it, except he mentioned that he loved to play video games, lived with roommates, and was 420 friendly. I didn't, and still don't, smoke at all, but I knew quite a few people that did, so I shrugged it off as part of compromising and accepting flaws. Well, it's a flaw for you. It's a big bonus for me. Unfortunately, I do think that bonus is going to be depleted rather quickly once we get to know him a little bit more. Little did I know, said OP, that I would be doing a lot of compromising in this relationship. Like, why even go past the first date? An entire pity relationship? Are you sure? A pity marriage? You want to do that?
Put it on and make him wanna marry me. Yeah. Put it on and make him wanna marry me.
Okay. It's your ride to take. OP says, I knew I could be awkward myself, and all the time we don't make the best first impressions, so I agreed to keep seeing him. Yeah, it's pity. Not too long after, I took Devin to the grocery store because he told me that his car was giving him trouble. Yeah, Devin's driving around in the day, woo!
It's the one in the parking lot with the spinning aquarium rims and the Yu-Gi-Oh stickers.
OP says this wasn't really a big deal, and it gave me the opportunity to see his house and meet his roommates before we headed off to the movies. I carried a bag of stuff in, and one of his roommates took me upstairs to show me where to drop it off. When I tell you the red flags were all over the place, there's supposed to be more of that sense, I think. OP says my jaw was on the floor with all his clothes, clumps of combed out hair. Oh, it's over, bros. Bottles, chip bags, wads of dollar bills, and all chaos. One part of me wanted to run right then and there, and the other part tried to rationalize by saying, well, no one's perfect. You gotta compromise in relationships. Yeah, don't you want to live in a trash pile?
We live in a big pile of garbage!
Relationships take work, yada yada. Yeah, but this is not gonna get anywhere near middle ground, okay? This cocktail of emotions shot me into what I called a productive rage, and I went off on him. I told him to grab some trash bags, and we tore through his room and picked up the clothes and stripped his bed. His roommates were dying in the other room the whole time. We skipped the movies and went to the nearest laundromat where we washed and folded everything for the rest of the day. He expressed his gratitude and told me that it was the best thing that ever happened to him. Yeah, it ain't gonna last long. You're not willing to do the work that it takes to maintain the nice thing that she's just done for you. It's also pretty hilarious that the roommates are laughing. It's such a roommate thing, isn't it? So yeah, after finally getting his room in a livable condition, he asked me to stay the night since I was obviously exhausted. I barely got any sleep. The bed was a twin. I was on my side, faced and smushed up against the wall. He snored like a chainsaw, and whatever sleep I could get was interrupted because I had to elbow him when he would randomly stop breathing. Nobody's perfect. You gotta compromise. Long-lasting relationships take work. These are the things that I would tell myself whenever he asked me to stay over for a hellish night's sleep.
Gubbins here tale, woman fight for love, man fight for breath. Twin bed, twin brain, Gubbins.
Yeah, that's pretty deep. Here comes a speed round. I hated it when he went to kiss me, especially after smoking. My wife feels the same way. I don't know what to tell her a lot of the times, honestly. You married it. I'm sorry. He never bothered to get his car fixed, and I would drive Devin to and from work like I was his personal taxi. He got upset whenever I was on my phone or watching videos with any type of feminist theme, saying that those videos were toxic. He wanted me to sit and watch him play video games, and disregarded me whenever I asked for games that we could both play together, because yeah, I enjoy video games too, just not games with highly sexualized anime themes. What was that, Stellar Blade? He played Stellar Blade. Hey baby, come watch me play Stellar Blade.
I saw that! Disgusting pervert!
I'm gonna objectify this pixel lady in front of you. See how you feel about it. It's not a great move. He bragged about being a good lover, but latching onto me like an algae-sucking fish on aquarium glass made me think otherwise. Yeah, please don't ever leave me. He was high the majority of the time. I honestly didn't know until he admitted it to me and asked me to be around him when he wanted to try acid. Oh, neat. This is going down a road, isn't it? But we're still just rolling along with it, even though he's like weird and damaged. I guess maybe OP could fix him, you know? I still remember the one day he agreed to be sober and we went out to dinner. I appreciated that day because I felt like I could talk to him authentically. However, at dinner, he admitted to eating an edible before leaving the house. And I saw in real time how it was taking effect as he slowly slipped away from me. Everything came to a head when the trip happened. Oh yeah, it will do that. Any tension that you've been holding on to, it will be released. It's all gonna come to a climax. And you're gonna be tripping balls the whole time. This is gonna be a experience that's deeply ingrained in your subconscious forever. He wanted me to drive with him to Asheville, North Carolina, to meet his sister who was visiting the States for the first time. Cool! We agreed to split the costs to rent a car and a hotel, and on the day of, when I was ready to pick up the rental car, he told me that his license was suspended because he stopped paying his car insurance when his car broke down. This meant that he could not legally drive. He paid the DMV $500 in fines and thus couldn't help pay for the rental.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about meeting your sister. I mean, apparently OP does. Ride or die for just, like, some reason that I'm mystified about. There's literally no reason. Is this better than being alone? Is it? So yeah, OP says I had to take my car. I recently finished repairs and maintenance, but I didn't get the chance to test drive it to make sure everything was stable, so I had to drive 6.5 hours over 400 miles on a wing and a prayer, there and back, all alone, and I mean alone. He said it would keep me company, but 30 minutes into the trip, he fell asleep. Maybe it's better this way, honestly. Like, neither of you really likes each other even. I love deep car conversations with wife. This guy's like, yeah, I'm just gonna fast forward time. Thanks for getting us there, but don't talk to me. OP says, thank God for audiobooks. His sister was nice enough, though I didn't appreciate that the first thing she did when we picked her up from the airport was to touch my hair, which was in an afro at the time, and asked me to give her cornrow braids. I don't know how to do those. But surely you must. That's ridiculous. Clearly there's a cultural barrier here, but that's good. We can learn about each other. We stayed for 2 days. I was exhausted getting back after another 6-hour drive. On the way home, there was a hurricane approaching our city, and one of his friends called and said that their house burned down. Jesus. Devin was rightfully upset, and I offered him to stay at my place until we were able to figure something out. When we arrived to look at the damage, it turns out that there wasn't any, and the whole thing was some sort of sick prank. I was livid and found nothing funny about that at all, but he told me I was overreacting, that his friends were simply playing a prank. Yeah, your house burned down and all of your possessions are gone. Cool prank, man. He loved me for how caring I was, wanting to help him in his time of need. I mean, that's really the only reason that he likes you, OP. You just give him stuff, you know? It's not a two-way relationship at all. How's your self-respect these days? Are you remembering that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it? Because I'll tell you every single day. You check us out over on Spotify or iTunes or Spreaker or whatever. I mean, YouTube too, but in a pinch, Spotify will do it. And yeah, you need to know, because you fucking deserve better. This is tragic.
He doesn't deserve you. If he doesn't treat you right by now, you're gone. I'm gone. Now go chop his dick.
Something was brewing inside of me. I didn't know what it was, but I knew my give and take compromising fuse was getting really short. Yeah, he's all take. You're all give. It's not gonna work. I ended up staying over since the storm was starting. Streets flood quickly here. His roommates went out of town, so we had the house to ourselves. The next morning, we were supposed to make breakfast together. As usual, it turned into a solo activity. He slept in, and when he did wake up, he just stood there and stared at me the whole time. Deep breaths. I'm telling you, he's a weird guy. We could have accepted that on date 1 and saved everybody a whole lot of time, you know? He decided that since I was here, today was the day that he would try his acid. Yeah. Are you free all day? Are you free for like the next 12 hours? Because you need to babysit me. Like even more than usual. Literal man-child. Jesus. OP says, I mostly wanted to be left alone and watch My Little Pony, which was my comfort show at the time. He called it stupid and childish and girly. But at that point, I just didn't care. I was waiting out the storm and needed to spend some time away from him after that. Well, I guess Sid kicked in because he was talking about how vibrant and colorful everything was. After one episode, he wanted to get up and watch something more manly and less cringy, like a horror or anime. And yeah, that sounded like a bad idea. It's definitely not gonna bring the right vibes. I hugged him and tried to convince him to stay and do something that I like to do, for once. While I was hugging him, he pinched my nipples super hard. I pushed him back and was like, what the hell? And he responded, you shouldn't have held me like that since I'm super out of it. All of this while he was on the damn trip that he wanted me to witness so badly. Yeah, isn't it super fucking fun? It's like being sober around drunk people. They're having a great time. I'm bored as shit. I'm just reminded how dumb humanity really is. Monkey brain like funny juice. And OP says, at this point I had finally had enough. Screw compromising. Relationships take work, but clearly this one was not working. Hurricane be damned. I packed all my things and drove the fuck home. I was completely numb. The whole process. After being bombarded with half-assed apologies and the, I'll never do it again. I'll quit smoking. I swear I'm a good guy. My only response was to send him the music video to Can't Raise a Man by K. Michelle.
Can't raise a man. He's already grown. What you gonna do?
He responded, I don't see what that has to do with me. Because he didn't listen to it. You don't get it. It's a metaphor, you fucking mouth breather. I blocked his number and his socials, told my friend about what happened, and she said, well, maybe I should give him a second chance. So yeah, I no longer talk to her either. She was trying to scrape her trash off onto your plate, OP. You almost ate it, too. You took at least a couple bites. I learned to trust my instincts from the get-go after that. It was hard, especially now, knowing all this time that I was an undiagnosed neurodivergent that had a hard time picking up social cues. Still, I learned what to look out for. Don't give them chances, ever! TLDR, gave a stoner nice guy Neckbeard a chance, and he wanted me essentially to be his new mom. Never again. I think the thing that mystifies me most about all this is just how it got this far. Like, you clearly didn't like him on the first date, but maybe it has to do with being neurodivergent. I don't know. This is what people do, so it's something I feel I should do too. But at like 26, it's I don't know. I think I got a fucky head too, but I had it more figured out at 26. But everybody has a different timeline. I don't know. Hope you're doing better now. That's one thing I can say.
Gubbins Hair Tail. Woman want partner. Get pocket goblin with vape lung, fish mouth, and acid brain. Man no need girlfriend, man need babysitter. Gubbins.
Vape lung? He didn't vape, he smoked cigarettes. It's fine. Gubbins, I love you. You're a fun little fellow. Much unlike Devin. He's miserable, and he was able to drag you into his misery for at least a little while, but I'm glad you escaped the trap. Again, these motherfuckers ain't gonna get me twice. That's what I know! So, we'll go ahead and move on into the next story, and I hope you will enjoy. This post simply titled, Creepy Ass Nice Guy.
That explains a lot.
We see it a few. I was in high school, and I made friends with a guy named Ben. He was tall, and a bit chubby, had the beginnings of a neckbeard. He wrote poetry and liked to talk about how he would be a famous writer. We got close as we had classes together. Overall, he seemed like an okay guy. I came out as a lesbian and he seemed cool with it. We used to hang out and go for walks after school. There was a forest path between my home and the school, and he would walk me through it to make sure that I was safe. Oh, I don't trust that one little bit. Yeah, just come with me out into the woods. I think I'm good, dude.
Walk you home like protector? No. Just early recon for weird ambush. Gubbins smell pre-cringe from mile away. Forest path safer than neckbeard with feelings. Gubbins.
Just facts, dude. I will walk the forest path with just a pointy stick, thank you. I feel much safer. Things began to get weird when he told me that we should be together because our friends thought we'd make a great couple. I had to remind him that I was not interested in men on numerous occasions. One day he invited me to his place. I asked if his parents were home because my parents didn't like me going to people's houses if their parents weren't home. He told me that his dad would be home by the time we got to his place. So the answer's no. So yeah, I'm not gonna go. While walking to his place, he told me that his dad was a pastor and could fix my homosexuality. To which I replied, no, conversion therapy doesn't work. And he dropped it. Yeah, for now. This is a dangerous situation to be in, you know? I don't like this one little bit. So we get to his house and his dad is still not home. Called it. Ben said his dad was likely on the way home from work and would be home any minute, and I believed him, naively. He asked me to go hang out in the basement.
I am not going up there.
I'm not going out there.
I'm definitely... Oh.
Sorry, bro.
You don't do that. It wasn't too weird, as I usually hung out with friends in their basements before. Yeah, but this one has a padlock on the door. You don't think that's a little weird? We were sitting on the couch in the basement just talking regularly, and then things got weird.
No parent. Basement trap. Fire all alarms. This not friend hangout. This is boss level side quest into pit of bad vibes. Gubbins scream at timeline. Gubbins.
The endless bad vibes. I'm skeeved out like since this started. Why'd you have to go into the basement? I'd rather not go into the basement. So yeah, things got weird. He didn't believe that I was a lesbian because him and I spent lots of time together. Our friends thought we'd be a good couple, and he talked about how his dad could fix me again. It had been half an hour. His dad still wasn't home, and I was starting to get nervous and suspicious that Ben had lied to me. No, you don't think. I couldn't get a word in, but then it happened. He scooched close and started caressing my face and said, "You are just so beautiful." And I was terrified that I was about to experience some actual bad touch. I got up and bolted up the stairs, grabbed my shoes, and ran out of the house. He ran after me asking, "What happened?" And I told him I just wanted to go home. Please don't talk to me about this or anything ever again. Thank you. He asked if he could walk me home, and I sternly said, absolutely not. I love that.
Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no.
I didn't stop, and he just kept following me when I reached the forest. I ran home. I never told my parents about it because my father would have killed him, and I just wanted to move on and forget the whole ordeal. Luckily for me, he left for an exchange trip for a semester soon after the incident, so I didn't have to see him. I guess that part is merciful, yes. The next semester he came back. Oh no! He just started hanging out with his friends again as if nothing had ever happened.
Come back like nothing happened? Nah. This man respawn without patch notes. Gubbins would have handed him map to nearest tar pit. Gubbins.
I think I have a quest to kill tar beasts, but yeah, I'm not grouping up with that guy. Ben did stop being creepy, however, and we never talked about the incident. Over time, I decided to give him another chance, but would only go to public places with him. Public places with him. I think that's a pretty good rule. I wouldn't have even given the other chance, but, you know, good for you trying to be the bigger person and such. I ran into him while I was out walking and decided to join him on his stroll. I told him about how a girl in my class asked me to go out on a date and that I was excited. He stopped and then began yelling at me that lesbians have an easier time getting dates because women are wearier of men than women. He told me I had ruined his exchange trip because I ran out of the house when he came on to me. He rambled on about how being a lesbian is a sin, and his dad could fix me so I could be with him. God, this is so creepy. Stop it with that shit, alright? Fix yourself first. You put the Zappy helmet on and tell me how you feel. It was so cringy, and really, I didn't even know how to respond, other than just walking away and going home. I avoided him like the plague after that, but I would catch him giving me awkward stares, and he would send me poetry about how much he wanted me. Thankfully, I moved shortly later. The last time I saw him was when I was on a road trip. I spotted him filling his car at a gas station, and immediately hunkered down in my car until he drove away. After that, never saw him again. Yeah, he knows he's wrong. He doesn't want to bring up the couch incident, But because you guys have not talked about it openly, he thinks suddenly it's okay and he can, like, try for round 2. That's fucking crazy. He's a squirmy little warm boy. I hated every event in the story. Hey, Gubbin, can you recap every event in the story for me? I'd appreciate it.
Story go like this. Cave girl nice, goblin man not. Say he write poem, but brain full of soup. Try fix what not broken. Lie about dad. Lure to basement. Touch without ask. Then scream at sky when girl no want him. Think world owe him warm cave cuddle. It no. World owe him bonk. Gubbins.
It no. World owe him bonk. Gubbins is so wise. Oh man. That's all I really want to see. A bonk or 20 with a good old fashioned ReddX Industries brand lead pipe. Pick it up in the merch shop over on 4th Wall at some point in the future when we learn how to source fucking laser engraved lead pipes. Really, really good one. I'm glad everybody's just, able to move away and the problem's over. The problem's over. It's a nice resolution. Not necessarily fireworks, but kind of nice. We'll try our luck with another one. And I implore you to share this video around if you do enjoy it. This post is titled, "My entire family accepted a nice guy as a family friend until he showed his true colors." Well, good. I'm glad they saw it for what it was. I never really realized this guy that I knew for years would be considered a nice guy until recently, as well as how traumatizing the entire ordeal was to my whole family. Brace yourself, because I'm going through 15 years of red flags, so excuse the long post. I tried to condense it as much as possible. Also, trigger warning for, racist things said by this dude at the end. Nice, clashy. Back in 2005, my mom and dad started going to this culty church. The church is a whole other story. We could get into that if you want. And they brought my eldest sister, Kay, 12, my middle sister, P, who was 9, and I, 4, to this place, where, of course, we met people who wanted to be friends with us. I do not remember how we met Nice Guy because I was really young, but all I remember is him coming over to our house and mainly hanging out with my dad because the strict social rules of the church was that men mainly hung out with other men, unless they're pursuing someone because God put it in their heart that they're supposed to get married. This is the Mormon church, isn't it? I hate to point fingers, but it all feels rather familiar. Could be any religion, really, though. He didn't look like the stereotypical fedora-wearing nice guy, other than the fact that he was quite portly and only wore a blue dress shirt, black slacks, black dress shoes, always had his hair combed in a way that looked like it was molded onto his head, like those old Ken dolls from the 90s, and he had a full mustache. Yeah, that's not uncanny valley levels at all. So this dude mainly hung around with my dad and watched weird comedy things, but would also talk a lot to my mother about spiritual stuff and theology. And he would show me, K, and P cool educational videos and computer programs and give us gifts such as exotic fruits that my working class fighting to stay above the poverty line family could really only dream of trying. I mean, some of that seems kind of nice on the surface, but this is going to go belly up at some point, right?
Men sneak into broken homes like spiritual handyman with fruit bribes. Gubbins no trust man who gift mango and trauma in same basket. Gubbins.
Yeah, I will admit, mangoes are delicious, but yeah, not worth suffering any sort of trauma for, okay? Unless it's like falling out of a mango tree, then, hazards at the job. Whatever. Mom liked this guy hanging around because he was contributing to some of our homeschool education. Oh, the culty church and the homeschooling? Oh my god. Do your parents call poo sin and make you keep it in little bags?
This sin is especially long and dark today.
Shine on, you crazy Mormons. Could possibly be someone to evangelize and convert my dad and make him stop maltreating us. Jesus. And also because she felt like she could talk to him and he helped with handyman work and fixed our computer problems. Even though I did enjoy the gifts that he brought, I still had an off feeling about him, but I assumed it was because he mainly hung out with my dad. We were not the only ones that this guy hung around. He seemed to like to hang around the families of the church who had a dynamic where there were absent or maltreating husbands, and where the woman had to take more responsibility in the household. People seemed to like him, and he was a Christian, so I shrugged off any weird feelings I had towards him and blamed myself for being ungrateful. Nah, there's something more than a little sus going on here. Tell you that. When I was 10, my parents separated, and my mom took me, K, and P to live away from our hometown for a couple of months in order to allow my dad to either find a decent job and work toward fixing his issues or file for divorce. I thought interactions with Nice Guy would stop there because I thought he would be friends with my dad and not really associate with us. However, I was wrong, and he wrote lots of letters of spiritual encouragement to my mom, still mailed us exotic dried fruits, and wanted to Skype with my sisters and I almost every day. Dude, you gotta fucking pump the brakes right there. What do you want to talk to all these kids for?
Back off, she's a minor!
It's weird, it's gross.
He writes scrolls like he prophet, but Gubbins read message clear. Please let me play house while real man gone. Fool shapeshift from friend to parasite, Gubbins safely, Gubbins.
Well advised. A really gross, like, snaky person, and part of me hopes that he's angling for the mom, but, like, why you want to Skype with the kids all the time? It's just fucking, I don't know, man. It's not concrete evidence of anything, but I don't feel great about it. When we returned home and filed for divorce, he visited us every day, sometimes staying from morning to midnight, either just talking to us or playing video games. Weird. I noticed this behavior of him wanting to do everything with us, more than the other families that he hung around with, and often wanted to talk primarily to my now single mother. I mean, I guess that's good. He's angling with the mom, you know. I don't think he's gonna treat her any better than the dad did. She needs some time to be alone, to reassess some shit. Why you gotta be like this? OP says, I was feeling overwhelmed because I was recovering from 10 years of maltreatment from my father, and I didn't particularly want a new man, particularly this man, to be my new stepfather, and I was increasingly convinced that this dude was trying to get with my mom. Yeah, 100%. I expressed my concern to my mom, in which she told me that she was enjoying being single and didn't want to marry anyone and was not interested in Nice Guy. She even asked Nice Guy point blank if he wanted to marry her, and he awkwardly sputtered about how he and my mom were just friends and brothers and sisters in Christ and nothing more. But I was not convinced. Yeah, you can't even pull the wool over a child's eyes. The mom definitely knows. Unless her compass is way out of whack from the years of maltreatment. I don't know, man. Sad situation all around. I grew increasingly frustrated with him because he would arrive announced pretty much every day, which gave me anxiety because some days I just wanted to be at home with mom and my sisters, and we would be expected to feed him what we had in the house, which was not much, considering my mom was now single, trying to support 3 kids on her own, and also give him our attention, which sometimes I just wanted to hang out with my mom and sisters alone, without someone from the outside coming in. Lock the doors, turn the lights off. I hide under the couch. I decided the best course of action to make my point clear was to start boycotting Nice Guy. Whenever I heard a knock on the door, I'd go hide in my room and not leave for any food or water unless dragged out by my mom or Kay until he went home. I also had lots of nightmares about him doing the things that my dad used to do and keeping a tally of how many I had in a week. It didn't help that Nice Guy started using a strategy to see me if I was avoiding him on purpose by waiting until I was alone at church, and then he'd try to corner me until I faked being ill or one of my friends found me. This is horrible, dude. You're using God's house to chase little children around? I had it. Why have you not been smited yet?
Child see the rot before adults. Gubbins trust small one. Hiding in room, not drama, is survival. Man use hurt feelings as guilt trap. Classic word trap. Gubbins no fall for fog speak. Gubbins.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He's done this a time or 10 before, alright? It's the only way he knows how to subsist, is as a parasite. Oh, I know you've been hurt, girl. Just let me make it worse. What the fuck? He then told my mom that I was avoiding him and that it hurt his feelings and that my actions were getting in the way of their friendship, which made my mom mad and caused her to punish me for these actions by not allowing me to have contact with my childhood best friend because, quote, I was not allowing her to be around her best friend, despite me expressing how uncomfortable he was making me feel and how I overheard my friends and the ladies of the church gossiping about how he would make a wonderful Christian father and to be an example in Christ to these 3 girls. The fucking hens just sitting over there clucking. Why don't you get a life, you fucking blue hairs, you biddies? Go knit something until you're dead. You can't say that in church, though. Because I loved my friend so much, I decided to write an apology letter and acknowledge that my mom was right about him only being a friend. Yeah, fuck it. I'll feed into your delusion if that means I don't get punished. Very strange, very strange. My gut feeling was proven to be correct, of course, when I was 13, because during an outing that he had with my family, my mom offhandedly mentioned how she was never going to marry again, and she was happy to be single to Nice Guy, which caused something in him to snap. Yeah, the mask, eventually that elastic starts slipping, doesn't it? He started yelling at my mom about how he loved her and how she was leading him on and that she was the snake used to test him. I didn't hear the rest of the conversation because Kay decided to usher P and myself away from the scene until it had cooled down. After that, he apologized and said it was some sort of mental health issue, which Mom believed.
I have anxiety. That means I'm in my shell and have a hard time expressing myself.
Yeah, that's a convenient thing to believe. He still kept on visiting, but after that incident, Mom began to realize how taxing he was on our mental health, and we would hide from him whenever we heard him knock at the door until he went away. See? That'll solve anything. However, we did still allow him to visit occasionally because he was considered to be a close friend of P because of their love of science. I'm sorry, P, but we got the internet now, fucking Wikipedia, we don't need that dude anymore. He's a physical threat to me and my children. Like being out alone in the woods with him and he fucking explodes on you. You're just out there with your kids. Like, I don't know, man. I don't think that's the type of bridge we can really rebuild. I can't unsee. Everything seemed to go more smoothly, other than a few instances where he showed some odd spiritual beliefs about mental health and family dynamics, some of which ticked Kay off to the point that she wouldn't speak to him for a long time. He even seemed okay with us leaving the culty church and started going to Bible studies at our other church. However, it all came to a climax in 2020 when he asked to talk to my mom alone, without Kay, P, or myself. I wasn't present at the moment, so all I have is my mom's account. So we decided to keep up visiting after the initial quarantine to have social distancing meetings with our friends around a bonfire in the yard. The conversation started out normal until my mom mentioned something about the Black Lives Matters protests in passing, which caused the nice guy to become very angry again and start yelling some awful things about people of color. There are specific examples listed here, but I don't feel comfortable reading them out loud.
That's gotta be racist. There's no way.
He'd yell about it until he was red in the face, though. And Mom, of course, told him that she disagrees with him and that what he said was not something that Jesus would approve of. But then he turned on her, saying that because she's chosen to raise us girls as a single mother with no God-fearing man in the house, we'll become too masculine and violent and we'll end up in prison. He then started rambling about how great Donald Trump is and how QAnon's a prophet sent from God, and told my mom that if she didn't vote for Trump, then P would end herself, which is a low blow because she had tried that a few years prior. This is a whole ass fucking mess, isn't it? I don't know what to do with it. look on in shock and horror, I guess. He said that the true children of Christ will come and purge the false believers after Donald Trump is elected as president. At a certain point, this is, like, so over the fucking top, isn't it? Like, yeah, we're having a fight. Let me sit here and listen to your political diatribe. I guess it could happen, but it feels straw-man-y to me. Very extreme, yes.
He wait 15 years to flip final bone. One mention of Black Lives Matter and man turn into full code bigot volcano. Say Trump good, girls bad, burn everyone. Gubbins say this not theology. This is brain mold on fire. Gubbins.
Yeah, what would Jesus do? Not whatever the fuck you just said, okay? True children of Christ. Oh, you're in for a rude awakening at some point, I tell ya. My mom said she thought that he was gonna do something terrible, like end her, until Kay came out because she heard him yelling and faked needing my mom for something inside so she could escape. Yeah, lock the doors now. Call the police.
911. Officer, right there. FBI, come on in.
After all that, he continued to send my mom hateful emails about how she was a whore who led him on, and how our family was going to hell because we didn't hate black people. Is that one of the 10 Commandments? Which one is that? I forget. It became so concerning that my mom's employer offered to have our family hide in their basement for a couple of weeks until the heat of the election cooled off. Hey, people in America get really fucking riled up, you know? It's a false dichotomy, you morons. Stop fucking buying in. Thankfully, it never came to all that. After a couple of emails about how the election was rigged and the insurrectionists on January 6th were actually Antifa, we finally lost touch with him. And now we moved to a completely new state. There you go. Wash your hands. I still have nightmares about him stalking me and my family, but other than that, he's just a memory, and we are now moving on. Anyway, sorry for the long post. It was a lot. Honestly, I could deal with a long post, but yeah, there's trauma here that I'm unsure how to unpack with my current skill set, you know? But I did my best. TLDR, Nice Guy tries to get my mom for 15 years, makes children uncomfortable, cornering them with weird religious ideologies, then finally gets violently mad at mom and threatens her for saying that racism's bad, and tries to win her over by insulting our entire family and spewing QAnon ideas and telling her that we will be hunted and ended once Trump is reelected as president. What the fuck? Yeah, well, that's a lot. All of this was bubbling under the surface for 15 years. Do you realize that? People are really the most terrifying animals that there are. He tried to lay his plots and his plans, and thank God it blew up in his face, alright? He might have the people at church fooled, but you don't fool me. You a creep. Trust your gut, alright? That's what I know.
Nice guy acts sweet for decade and half. Underneath, moldy swamp lizard with god cosplay, daddy issues, and political brain rot. Wanted family to worship him like prophet, but cracked when no one drank his code red Kool-Aid. Gubbins say, not nice guy, not godly man, just unbaked loaf of loneliness and rage. Throw whole man in volcano. Gubbins.
That would be a good way to sort it. I personally don't think he'd make much of a sacrifice, though. The gods might be upset that we chose that man to go into the volcano. But we can find something to do with him. Deserted island, millstone around the neck, just bury him alive, you know? There's all sorts of fun you can have. He's out there threatening vulnerable women with children, making people's lives worse, and I cannot abide by any of that. He doesn't represent all of the church. I know there's some good people in there, but usually my experience at church is pretty horrible. Church usually consists of terrible people trying to convince themselves that they're not so terrible. And then as soon as they leave church, they hop on the Facebook and start talking that good shit. At least I'm honest about it. At least I'd say it to your face. Anyway, killer episode today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sign up on the Patreon or YouTube memberships to encourage me to do some more. I did mention the fourth wall for merch, I think. I also mentioned the podcast. We did pretty good with plugs today. High five. Lastly, of course, I just want to remind you, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely, definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.